So, welcome to everybody and bienvenidos al curso de español. So, my course is basically a Spanish course for novice. So, what I have been doing is I took the information that we are using in the Spanish classes in NMSU and I tried to transform it into an online platform. So, first of all, as you can see here is my home page. So here I included some information about me, my email, my Skype account, so the students can contact me and ask me questions. They also have here the course they are going to be using in another platform. This platform is My Spanish Lab. We have this platform here, so the students are basically going to be working with a book and they're going to be working on activities in another platform. And what I want to give them in this particular course is like other activities to reinforce what they are going to be doing in this platform. So, as I told you, they are going to find here some additional information and links to where to buy the book, where to go to the lab if they want to practice Spanish in NMSU. Otherwise, they're gonna be having Skype sessions with me. And I also provide them other links with additional syllabus information, 3C activities, and other links for Spanish conversation. The first thing I want all my students to do is to take the placements exam. So it is important that to know if they have already taken Spanish at school and if they know something about the Spanish language before they start this course, because this course is basically going to be a course designed for novice or for people that never learned Spanish or don't remember anything at all. So that's the first thing they have to do. I use a placement test that we are using in the Spanish department. So once they finish this test, they have to send me the results, and then we will be talking about if that's the course they should be taking or not. So that's the first thing. Then I have been working on some models. The first model they are going to find is an introductory one. So they're going to be working with the books, as I told you, and they're going to be working in another platform. And in this platform, what I want to encourage is the interaction between peers and also the grammar aspects and cultural activities. So the first model is an introductory one. I'm planning to do this description in every single model because I think it's pretty easy for the students to know what I'm expecting from them if they have something like that. So that's something that I have created just for model A or 0, but I'm planning to create a similar version of my models in the number 1 and the number 2. So here they have an introduction. I'm mentioning also the book they are going to be using, and then the goals for this lesson, as well as the activities and the assignments they will be using. So first they have to go to My Spanish Lab and access the course with the codes I'm providing them. Then they have to read chapter A, and when they read chapter A and then do the activities in My Spanish Lab, they're gonna be doing the assignments. So I try to make everything clear here. I'm planning to add in every single module an extra activity that is called 3C points, and that's an additional option that they have at the end of the course. They can always take the exam, or if not, they can be working during the whole semester in extra activities related with the culture and the community. So I have been working on some of these activities that far, but I think it would be better if I include one activity in each of the models, at least one. So now I'm going to show you the other activities that I have in model A. So first I want them to introduce themselves, but in a pretty easy way. So they just have to post here something about them. And then once they post this information, I want them to use those questions to ask peers from other information. So I think examples in activities are always useful, at least for students who never took Spanish, so that they know more or less what I want them to do. So here they have an examples, and my idea is that they post their comments and then they answer questions to others in a pretty easy way. So here it's gonna be about participating or not participating. I'm not grading anything else, just the first activity. So then we go again to the models, and they have also the activity number 2, the weather. Here I want them to write something and upload the text, because I'm gonna be correcting this activity as a writing one, so a writing activity, an extra. And here they have also one sample, so it's gonna be pretty easy, just 4 or 5 sentences, so they get used to the kind of activities they're gonna be doing during the models. One thing I have done for the model A, and that I'm planning to do for all the models, is a question forum. First, I thought about doing just one for the whole semester, but I would like to know what you think about it. I think probably I should do one question forum for each of the models, because it's gonna be easier for them to use different ones. So here it's basically a place where they are going to interact with others, asking questions. Everything is gonna be in English. I just want them to interact with their peers and ask them questions about grammar or vocabulary aspects or cultural aspects that they are not understanding. So I'm gonna try to participate in this forum as well, but what I really want to is that my students explain some concept to the others, so that they kind of teach and help others in the different assignments. So as I told you, I just opened one forum, but I think it will be a good idea if I do one in each of my models. So that's basically the model, the introductory chapter or model. Then we go to the model number 1, my family. As in the first model, they're gonna be working with the book, then they're gonna be reading the chapter and working on some activities in my Spanish lab. And then I created here an interactive activity. They have to introduce themselves again, but now they're gonna be using all the information provided in chapter 1. Here they have some questions they can be answered, as for example, ¿cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres? So where do you live? Who do you live with? How is your house? So it's gonna be a little bit longer than the first one. And then once they write their post in Spanish, of course, they have to ask them some questions to their peers. And I'm giving them some examples. For example, what's your favorite food? What kind of sports do you like? Then here I work on a rubric that I think is pretty clear or should be clear for the student. So what I'm expecting from them is to, of course, to post everything on time so they can follow the comments of the peers. Then they have to be writing something. They have to be reading other posts and asking questions. And then they also have to interact in this question forum that I have been working on to ask this other peers what they think about some grammar aspect and vocabulary aspect. So basically helping each other. So I'm gonna give them points for helping each other, so participating in this forum. Then I'm gonna give them points for writing their own posts, at least between 4 and 6 sentences and no less than 4. And then I'm gonna be giving them points as well for asking other peers their questions. So now we go to the second activity of the model number 1. That is going to be a quiz to make sure that they're understanding this verb, the verb to be, because it's going to be really helpful and useful in all the chapters in this course. So in this, at that point, I didn't know I have so many options to use in the quizzes, so I decided to use basically this one, so they can pick the option they think is the right one. I think that's going to be helpful, at least at the beginning, for the students, because I'm not expecting from them to write everything correctly, but to choose what they think. Here again in model number 1, I decided to include an extra activity. In this activity, the students, if they don't want to take the exam at the end of the semester, the students are going to be working on cultural and community aspects, as I told you. So the first thing they're going to be doing here is going to the internet, looking for a place they would like to visit, and they're going to comment with the peers some information about the location, traditions, the food, economy, politics, so everything that they find interesting. They are gonna be writing in English because what I'm grading here is the cultural and community aspects and not the grammar and the vocabulary. So they have to write a good text, yeah? So 200 words minimum about a country. So then once they have this information, I want them to look at the information from others and also ask them questions and publish their comments about these countries. So that's basically an activity where I want the student to learn more about the different countries in which Spanish is spoken, and to know that Spanish is not just a language spoken in a small area, but a language with a lot of variations and a lot of traditions and a lot of cultures and cultural environments, sorry. So here I'm providing them with some links where they can find information to work on this assignment. They have here the different countries where Spanish is spoken, and here they have some links to National Geographic, Lonely Planet, and other websites that can be very helpful in searching for the information. So as I told you, that is going to be an extra activity, but I think it's interesting for the students to participate in those kind of activities. I always try to add something like pictures or videos to make everything more interactive. So that's everything about chapter 1. So model 1, sorry. I have been also working in model 2, but as I told you, I have to work in model 1 and model 2. I should add an explanation about the things they have to be working on and also what I'm expecting them to know. The first activity I created in model number 2 is a quiz about the university and the vocabulary they have been covering in this chapter. So first, I always provide some information about what I expect them to do in this context. I also added the time they have to do it and the attempts, and I also give them some resources where they can find something, for example, a dictionary. That is always helpful when doing those kinds of activities. So here I try to use different question types. One is going to be a multiple choice, another one is just choose one option. In other questions, they have to be choosing more than one options. In other questions, they have to write the options, as here as well. Then they also have true and false questions. And I also decided to include questions in which they have to work with numbers. I think, so they have been covering number vocabularies. So some operations like suma, resta, so operaciones, where they have to write just the number.